Caitlin, I noticed you're in incognito mode again. Are you surfing porn or what?
I do use Incognito for porn. Nobody needs to know. They don't need to be collecting data on what I'm into.
Yeah, you don't want the ads coming for that.
No, but I just this morning I had to run an errand, and then I realized, oh, you haven't put on makeup yet, and I just decided that I was going to release myself from the burden of having to wear hair and makeup for this podcast because I'm going to work out later, and I was like, you know what? No, I don't. I can just wear a hat and glasses. I can't. I'm not having sex with any of those men that I'm coming to see. I'm not having sex with Craig. I'm not having sex with Jack. I'm not having sex with Brandon. Like, who am I trying to No, I'll look like a little gremlin. It's fine.
That's true. To be fair, I'm not wearing any makeup either.
It's true. I can tell.
I don't know if our guest is, but I'm assuming not.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just make the eyes pop.
Yeah, well, the lights. You don't want to glare.
Gotta look pretty.
You don't want to glare.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to the Texas Poker Experience, y'all. I'm Caitlin Komeski. That's my co-host, Craig Sear. On this podcast, we have some of the most, cutting-edge content creators and club operators in the business, really, that come with a lot of clout. This week, we wanted to change it up a bit and get someone with less clout in the poker community. So we are happy to be joined by Chad Keating. Welcome to the pod, Chad.
Hey, thanks for the compliments. Yeah, we'll go with that. The backhanded insults.
No, I think it was very, very aforementioned. It was in the outline that you received before the show.
Yeah, I forgot to read that.
It was mentioned last night that you're like one of the least Chads, but I disagreed with that sentiment. I think you're quite a chatty Chad.
Well, I'm a chatty Chad, but I'm not a Chad, if that makes sense.
You're not like the internet Chad. You're like a chatty.
Oh, God, This is going to be one of our worst podcasts, I can tell already.
Yeah. We're off to a hot start, folks.
Okay, Chad. So why don't you introduce yourself to the Texas Poker Experience audience? Who the hell are you, and what have you accomplished in your life?
I'm Chad. See, what have I accomplished in my life? I can disappoint my parents pretty well, so that's always a good thing.
Hell yeah.
Been playing poker for on and off 5-10 years. Recently started playing more live around here in Texas. Been playing at the lodge, a couple of home games. Got to be on the stream with you.
Mm-hmm. My little show pony.
Yeah. Good times for all.
So what was your introduction to the poker world?
So I have a brother, well, several brothers, but my brother's been playing, since 2003, 2004, whenever. Mm-hmm. And I've just always watched him growing up. He was always just, good, entertaining.
Your brother Alex Keating.
Yeah, Alex Keating.
Pro, okay.
So no, I'm not the best poker player in my family. Just thought, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'm right yet.
No, what's funny is I remember Alex Keating the first year he made the deep run at the WSOP. I was locked in and watching poker at that point. And I remember rooting for him. He's a really fun personality, good at the table talk, really bold look. He has the big bushy beard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before the big bushy beard was really in, he's had it for a long time. He got a lot of coverage in that WSOP. What year was that? Do you remember?
I think that's 2017, but you definitely hit on a thing. Me, my other brother Kyle, who likes to play, we're definitely big on the whole table talk. Poker should definitely just be more fun. We don't want to just be one of those people with the hoodie on, glasses on, just looking miserable. No offense.
I have this.
I never look like this at the poker table, ironically.
No, but it's always fun. Crack some jokes at the table. Try to get a little soul read. Once in a while, you call it their exact holding. You look really smart. 9 out of 10 times, you look really dumb. But you have fun.
I have this general disdain for like the prototypical poker pro like you're talking about, that sits there in the headphones and the sunglasses and the hoodie and just literally doesn't speak to anybody, doesn't speak words. I had a really funny text exchange with Caitlin I was playing a couple of weeks ago. And I said, Caitlin, I need some really good, I want to diss this guy bad.
I've never been so happy to receive a text message request. You're like, can you help me? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. What's the issue? And you're like, I need to come up with some insults. And I was like, boom. And I sent you 4 straight off the bat.
Yeah, I'm like hard hitting insults.
You were like, these are too vague. I can't just be calling anyone at the table a bridge troll. And I'm like, okay, well, who are we targeting? And what'd you say?
I said, just the pro that never speaks, that, is completely antisocial, just here for the money, clearly not here to network, not here to make any friends, not here to even have his company enjoy, just straight up just here to 3-bet you into submission, collect the money, go to the cage, and go home to his like sexless, joyless life. And so Caitlin gave me some real bangers. And then my plan was basically the first time he speaks, it might be 2 hours, it might be 2.5 hours into the game. I'm just going to unleash the Caitlin fury on him. And he doesn't know what's coming from Caitlin. It's just going to come straight from me. And literally the guy played 3 hours and didn't fucking speak the entire game. So I didn't even get to do it.
What was the banger I gave you?
Something about the sexual tension tripling the moment that he came in the room. Like it proceeded into the room before he came in. That was the one I really liked.
Oh, okay.
The sexual tension was so thick, and it literally came into the room before he did.
Okay, nice.
That was a good
solid.
one. That was good. Bridge Troll is good, but that's just too generic, I think.
No, what was the one that was like, you joyless cuck, your accountant's going to be the only one to attend your funeral?
Yeah. That's the kind of hard-hitting thing that I wanted
That's like my value that I have as a friend. You're like, if you're ever in a situation where you're in a verbal jousting and you don't feel like you can hold your own, like I'm your lifeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my highest value in friendship.
I love to network, right? If your AC breaks, you want to know a good AC guy, right? And I do. And I had that happen a couple weeks ago, and it really sucked, but got through it. And then it's like, same thing. You need a plumber. Like, I want to know a plumber personally. When I need a hard-hitting insult, I'm like, ooh, Caitlin.
I'm a craftsman.
Caitlin, I need you. I like shine the bat symbol, and Caitlin's like, I'm here. Who do you want to insult?
Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's catch up on a little bit of Texas poker news. I think the first thing we wanted to talk about was that the Lodge announced some changes to their buy-ins for tournament structures. Can you break that down a little bit for us, Craig, our numbers man?
Doug Polk got called out by some of his fellow high-stakes pro brethren on the Twitters, I believe, about how the rake in the Lodge tournaments is like extremely high compared to any other tournaments in the world. And for example, I don't play a lot of tournaments, but I do know like some details, like the monthly monster is 500 plus 100, which most places $500 tournament's going to come with like a $60 entry fee, $65 entry fee, maybe 75 or 80. So 500 plus 100 is already a little bit high. But Texas being this wild frontier that it is, that we talk about all the time, it's kind of like, well, hey, there's no rules, there's no regulations. Nobody's going to say, hey, you can't charge 100. They can make it 500 plus 250 if they want. If people are going to pay it, why not?
And the Lodge was the first club in Austin to run these size and type of events. So we'll give the credit where credit is due. They were the trailblazers on that front.
And their big thing was, I mean, they started a monthly monster $500 buy-in tournament with a $500,000 guarantee, and they could have just had a massive overlay and just had to pay out that extra money. So
and
they were the
smashed
ones with
it out of the gate. The first few months, smashed it.
Yep.
They've only missed it once or twice, I think, in the duration of its inception.
And when we had Andrew Nemi on, he talked about, when there's overlay, they suck it up, they pay it, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Did we talk about the Hustler guarantee situation the last time? So, okay, other poker news for those of y'all who aren't hooked in on the Twitter world was that the Hustler was running a $250K guarantee tournament. They ran a couple of the day one flights and had qualifiers. After they announced their tournament, the Bicycle Casino announced a competing event that had a larger overlay. So they were already looking not so good or had a bigger prize pool. So that siphoned off a lot of the tournament business in LA. Meanwhile, they also had a robbery that weekend, and Adam22 was going to be on the stream, and they ended up canceling the live stream and closing for the day, which impacted the tournament because there was an armed, is it robbery or burglary? I forgot I believe lesson.
This would be a robbery.
Robbery. So there were 3 guys, I think, with AK-47s that ambushed an armored vehicle.
Definitely
truck
a
delivery.
robbery.
And when I was just at Hustler on Monday, we're going to talk about it, but I heard one of the floor guys telling their regs about it. And they were running out with the AR-15s. They had the duffel bags, and one of the badged security guards at Hustler actually followed them outside with his little handgun, and he actually popped one of them. And they said they found the getaway car and it was covered with blood, but that they did get away. And impacted the club and it impacted the tournament. And as a result, Hustler did something that's pretty unprecedented in the poker community, which was reneging on their guarantee, not honoring the guarantee and just canceling the event and saying that the players that had already qualified would play for the remaining money in the prize pool. Of course, this got immediate backlash on Twitter. A lot of people were calling them out, and they immediately made an announcement with the GM, Sean Yapel, the Hustler Casino Live producers, Nick Vertucci and Ryan Feldman, who have done an excellent job with that program. I don't think anyone's debating that. Anyway, so in their announcement, they said Sean Maple, the GM, took full ownership of the decision, said that it was his final decision, and that what they would do to make it right for their players is that they would give all the qualifying players back their buy-in. That's not the same amount as the overlay would have been, of course. They apologized. They took full ownership of it, but yeah.
I mean, plus, what if you bagged just a huge amount, like on their first day?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they gave them some sort of like free roll tournament. Like they were going to do a day 2 for like whatever their actual prize pool was.
And then they got their buy-in back, all the qualifying players.
I mean, yeah, but whoever like bagged like 12x, 16x stack, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, a 250K guarantee is probably going to have about 50K up top. And if you were like one of the chip leaders of your flight, you're wanting to play for 250K.
Well, also,
I don't know what the final prize
pool.
pool is, but I imagine it was probably like 25 to 30% of what the guarantee was supposed to be. So that's
like,
not
what if
cool
you're
for the
staked in
players.
this tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like how do you tell your backers? Like, sorry guys, I guess we're not playing for as much. What do we do now?
No,
Yeah.
I mean it sort of fundamentally just sort of is at odds with the whole concept of a guarantee and what that word means.
Guaranteed asterisk.
My heart does go out to them because they did have that, shooting and then the competing club or whatever. But you know what? Like Doug Polk specifically retweeted the cancellation flyer and was like, we were very ambitious with our guarantees over at the lodge and we didn't make all of them. And we sucked it up to the tune of like 600K or whatever it was.
Yep.
And
Fair's fair.
Yeah,
He's
they got
absolutely
crushed on
right.
LCS. Yeah, I think Doug had to get 4th place just for the room to break even.
I don't know if that's true or what the numbers are there, but no, I mean, yeah, it wasn't a smashing success the second half of the series, and to the lodge's credit and to Texas Poker credit, we don't renege on our guarantees. So I do think that that was a huge story in poker nationally.
If you're going to expose yourself to the risk of overlay, I've actually had someone recently ask me that listens to the podcast. They didn't know what we meant by overlay. So basically what that means is if somebody guarantees they have a 500K guarantee, they're guaranteeing that there's $500,000 in the prize pool. So if the buy-in is $500, they need 1,000 people to enter that tournament. Some people can enter multiple times, right? You might enter 2, 3, 9 times.
Yeah.
But only 6.
Only 6. Okay. 6 busto bullets. But the bottom line is you need 1,000 entries into that tournament to make $500,000 that you're going to give away. So if they only get, say, 900, that's 50,000 that they're short, and they have to cover that 50,000. And this is what the Hustler didn't do. That 50,000 is called overlay. So what a lot of these rooms will do when they're having a big tournament, a multi-flight tournament, they'll send out a text to their player base and they'll say like overlay alert, meaning like there's extra value here. We're going to basically just throw $50,000 in here unless we get a whole bunch of players that come in the next 6 hours. And you kind of want to be one of those players because there's free value there as a player.
And it affects just quite literally what it does is it makes the men cash larger. It makes all the payouts larger because there are fewer people splitting up the prize pool.
Yep. So back to the lodge and their structure changes. One of the other things that the lodge was called out for, or Doug was called out for via the lodge, via Twitter, was that when you enter a tournament for 500 plus 100, they're saying that 100 is a little bit high. Usually it's around $60 to $80, but they're saying it's 500 plus 100. And also when you bust 5 times, each time you go back in, you pay this full 600. You pay 500 plus 100 again. Whereas at a casino, typically you're going to pay $565. You bust, you want to re-enter. If it's a re-entry type of tournament, you pay $500. You've already entered the tournament. It almost incentivizes you to enter again because it's like, well, I've already paid that $65 entry. You only pay that once. But at the lodge, you pay it every time.
And they hadn't been doing that at the Art of Poker event. That was one of the monthly events that they have on, I think, the first Saturday of every month, or maybe it's the second Saturday. But it's a monthly tournament at the lodge, Art of Poker. It's a $200 tournament. And I think that tournament is the one that's the most impact because that was the only tournament running that way. So they just restructured the way how like dealer appreciate what what it's all just like one standardized sliding scale. They've provided the table on all of their social media, so you can check it out for yourself. But it standardizes the whole process.
Yeah. And someone pointed out last night that table goes all the way to $25,000 buy-in, and they're like, I don't think they're doing any 25Ks going on at the lodge anytime soon. But boy, I would love to see it. That'd be awesome if they did.
No, Doug responded to it. He was like, you never know.
So an interesting thing about all of that is I just wonder how it will affect things going forward. Another thing I didn't know until last night someone was talking about is that the lodge is 21 plus. I think they're the only one
I
that
had no
is.
idea that was a recent change that was made. I think with the new ownership team, that I didn't know that many people under 21 that were playing in the club, so I hadn't spoken to anyone that was affected until I saw someone last night that was like, yeah, I got caught using a fake at the lodge and I can't go back. And I was like, oh shoot, how old are you?
How old are you, young man?
Young man.
I mean, it was a bold strategy to begin with. They changed to 21 plus, and he was already a regular, and they knew he was 18. He thought, you know what, I'll just bring the fake ID anyway. They won't remember me.
Yeah.
Maybe they're racist. We all look the same or something. Was that his thing?
I mean, it works for him.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to guess where he is from last night. And I had the worst guess of all. I guessed Canada. And he's very obviously an Asian man. Mm-hmm. But I guessed Canada. And when everyone laughed at me, I said, what? He's really polite.
Okay.
And to be fair, everyone else was wrong too. So how wrong you were is inconsequential. It makes no difference. We were all wrong.
Oh, I've been very wrong with this.
I just had the wrong continent.
That's sort of something that's fun about the poker table, is that you can have conversations that would be considered completely inappropriate in so many different social contexts. But because the poker table is such like a fun, escapist activity especially for most of the table, I feel like you get to have these conversations that are like not PC approved. Like they would definitely trigger some, like even me just making that joke just now, I was like, oh shit, am I going to get shit for that later? Did I just trigger somebody?
Well, but there's also that, there's...
Damn it, Chad. Chad's like, not your best moment.
But there's also a crowd of 8 to 10 people there for constant like checking, because someone could say, hey, Caitlin she didn't mean it in the way, like if anyone did get offended, they're going to say, hey, obviously she didn't mean it like that. She didn't mean it in a malicious kind of way. What she's saying is, well, you have a group of people there. So you it's almost like college for a lot of people. They end up in those deeper discussions where you have a group of people and you're like really going to just pick something apart and kind of figure it out.
I love a good poker game when you get a bunch of intellectual nerds together. Like if we were at a game with like Carly, me, Eric, you, I feel like we would just like really throw down with some like.
You forgot
really
Chad
deep
when you were
discussion.
listing off intellectual people. You forgot Chad.
Thanks, buddy.
Do you want to discuss some Immanuel Kant? Do you have some deeper feelings about the Enlightenment period? Or?
Yeah, there's some interesting things about that. I mean, I'm really more of a, existentialist. We're all dead in the end.
Yes, King. Okay. Man is born free, but everywhere in chains. Let's go.
But I was going to mention something, but yeah, you're right. Like, it's just always fun to be at like a very like fun, like active table. If you say something wrong, Craig will just pull out the canceled button.
Yeah.
I think I had like 3 last week.
Yeah, you accumulated almost a stack of cancel buttons for your off-color humor.
Yeah.
But do we think 21 is an appropriate age for, what do we think it's the BYO system at the poker clubs that is, or in a lodge specifically that sort of preempted this decision to raise the
I don't know of
limit?
any other clubs, certainly in the Austin area, but there's tons of clubs in Texas. There's got to be others that are 21 plus. Perhaps they're just protecting their own interests. They just, maybe because of BYOB, but I almost think, like if you go to like a strip club, I think the BYOB ones are the ones that are 18 plus. The ones that serve are the ones that are 21 plus.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's something on the horizon we don't know about. Maybe they're getting a liquor license and they're going to start serving. So they just wanted to be.
Do you think it was a decision to try to we're a college town. Round Rock is probably only like 15 miles away from the UT campus. Do you think there's any part of management that's just trying to dissuade that customer base from making its way over? Because I don't know that, honestly, college kids are always welcome at any game I'm at. They're terrible. They're just learning. They're babies. Please, seat open. Come learn on mama's time.
Well, and most of them are just not bankrolled to play at any stake. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're playing optimally. They don't understand that you're going to go on a downswing. Even if you're playing 1-2 at a 300 cap, like you're going to go on a downswing
But
where you
usually,
lose 5K.
bankroll management for the college kids is like calling up mom and being like, "Mom, my car broke. I need like extra gas money this week." Or like, "Oh, I gotta get my oil change." Like I've seen them.
Yeah. Oh, my
I was
rent
like,
went up.
Yeah, you get
know
by.
Will, you know, sweetie
got
little
robbed.
Will. Do you remember him like yelling at his mom to change his plane ticket? I was just like, God, you're a baby. You still yell at your mom.
Let's talk about our meetup game a little bit.
Okay.
How do you feel it went overall?
I think it was a success. I mean, the Red Star is a club that usually only gets one table, and there were a couple hours where they were running 4. So I'd say we definitely increased their business for them.
It was hard to say because I think some people got shuffled in, and E asked me, he said, "Do you mind if we have someone that just walks through the door, that if there's a seat open at one of the tables, you got?" I'm like, "Yeah, send them in." But I think we had about 20 people there on our behalf, so a little more than 2 tables, which is cool. One of the games we changed to match the stack, and it got a little bit bananas. We trolled Chad a little bit on Instagram because Chad ran up a stack and ran it back down, and then ran a new one back up.
Chad doesn't have locking a win in his vocabulary. He has never locked up a win.
I
in his
mean,
goddamn
it was like
life. He
1
keeps it
hour
in
into
play.
the
I love
session. I was planning being there 6 hours. You know, bomb pots happen.
They do.
But I mean, I'd never been to Red Star before, so the only incentive was, Greg and Caitlin are hosting a game. All right, let's show up.
Yeah.
And overall, I thought it was a great game. There was this one girl screaming a lot, but other than that, it was a really good time.
That was me.
It was a lot of fun. It wasn't quite as much of a social experience as we thought, probably because I just got like mega stuck. Like I was in for 3 bullets in the first
Craig
orbit.
was sweating, y'all. I haven't seen Craig Craig was sweating. I kept I was just getting drunk on his wedding alcohol and getting obnoxious and like yelling over at him, trying to like get fun content for the vlog. And he's like, "Give me a minute. I just got scooped again. I can't."
Yeah, I would have been a lot more fun if I spun it up the way I spun it down to start. But but it was a lot of fun, and I think the concept there is we kind of would be open to doing it again if there's any of the clubs that are in the Austin area, or honestly would travel if we have a following outside of Austin, but do it again where it's kind of, bring a couple tables of action.
Craig thinks we're like the Beatles of Texas poker. I can't.
No, but it was fun, and I think I was like,
he's like 20 people. That's almost 2.5 dozen.
But,
or 1 3/4 dozen.
Yeah, we'll book a charter flights.
Yes.
Bigger than Helmuth.
Yeah, we'll see if Taylor Swift can loan us the jet. I hear she loans it out a lot.
if she's on it, I'm in.
Taylor Swift. You like Taylor Swift?
Oh, she's on my list.
Oh, she's on your list? You like the tall, leggy blondes?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's on the list for sure.
But then the poker player, or excuse me, the golf lady that looks just like that you
Don't give
hate
a
on all
damn.
the time.
Don't give a damn.
She looks exactly the same. She's just not wearing red lipstick.
She does not look
just
exactly the
need the
same. It's way
lipstick?
different.
Okay.
And Taylor Swift's actually talented.
Chad, is Taylor Swift on your list?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love her old 2010 stuff.
You wouldn't kick her
that
out
was
of
on
the
my
bed? You wouldn't kick her out of the bed?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think I'm in a position to kick anyone out at the moment.
Craig is, though, apparently.
Yeah, a marriage would do that to you.
Chad, what were your thoughts on the meetup game? Did you enjoy yourself? Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah, I'd definitely do it again. I think we had like a fun table, a lot of the regulars from a lot of the home games I play at. There was definitely good action at the table. I was just out there cracking some jokes, making people just, want to talk a little bit more. I think 8 out of 9 players liked it.
Yeah. You got it all in against me twice with 9 high, and we ran it twice. I had aces both times, and we chopped both times. How did you feel about that?
Well, I was just following your advice. You said to win flips, and I was trying to win flips.
Yeah. I don't think it's a flip when you have 9 high against aces.
Well, it's a flip. It's just a weighted coin.
About an 85-15 weighted coin. Oh, I was so tilted. And I lost the first run on both. So like if we don't even run it twice, I just get scooped both times. So brutal.
To be fair, I jammed my queens for a $1,500 pot and got called by King 10 off, and I need the second board to save me.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like an Anthony. Was that an Anthony?
Yeah, that's definitely an Anthony.
Anthony has this
He's
thing where
pot committed.
He 4-bets himself where he's just like he can't fold. He gets 5-bet jammed on. He's like, fuck. I have to call
He
now.
said something hilarious to me last night. He's like, I've been playing these 4-bet pots, and sometimes they like lead into me for 10%. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing. And it's a 4-bet pot. And he's like ace high 4-bet pot. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's the sizing. That's the thing.
So, Caitlin, you look very familiar from
Yeah.
a poker stream that I watched that happened in California just 2 days ago. There was a woman that looked exactly like you. She was wearing that exact same hoodie.
Well, I'm super hot under these lights, but I'm wearing a tank top underneath, and I'm just like not taking it off. But yeah, I love this hoodie.
So what was that like?
I got this hoodie for the Hustler stream. It was super fun. So I woke up at like Monday at 5:30. I wore my hair curly, so I had like wrapped my hair in a heatless curl method where I like put it up in a scarf, and I did my makeup that morning and was like, this has to last for 24 hours. So good luck. Shellac it in. And I flew out to LA. I got there around like 9 o'clock, and some people in my life had like discouraged me from going or told me they didn't think it was a good idea.
Not me.
I had I know. And I did it anyway. So I definitely was coming out with like a lot of like chip on my shoulder energy. Like, no, I think this is a good idea. And but I did face a lot of negativity or discouragement from the decision to travel to play that game. And I arrived at the club and played the 2-3 game, which what a lot of people don't know is the Hustler was actually the first casino I ever played in. Like when I was living in LA after I graduated college and moved out to LA, that was the first time I ever played like public casino games. And I always joke around that I think it's hilarious I didn't get scooped up by some Armenian man from playing in the Hustler so often. But that was like my side hustle. And it was really sort of bizarre to be sitting down to play this 2-3 game, which is like our 1-2 in Texas because it's capped at $300, you know? And the drops are massive. They take 5 and 1 out of baby pots. It's pretty, they don't even let you chop. You got to give them $1. It's pretty hilarious. But anyway, it was I was going through this very, what's it called? Like I used to be so intimidated by that game and used to be so stressed out by that game. And it was so weird to sit down, and now it's like a baby microstate game to me.
Yeah,
and
you're just filling your time with it.
I'm crushing everybody, and I'm just trying to pass the time before I play 2040. Like so that was sort of like a nice, what's it called? Like deja vu, I guess isn't the right term, but just sort
Trip
of like
down memory lane.
Trip down memory lane. They go, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. Look at what these crazy turns that my life has taken. And they mic'd us up and they took my phone away. And I'm very addicted to my phone. I'm very online on Twitter, on TikTok, on all the apps. So it was that was sort of like an adjustment at first, like, oh shit, they took my phone. But it's kind of like it's perfect. I actually prefer that. I wish the lodge would take away our phone and kind of babysit us in the same way, to be like, no, you don't get to get the text messages from your coaches or your friends telling you have spinach in your teeth or you made a bad fold or you made a bad whatever. And you don't have to deal with being tempted to look into the Hustler live stream chat and see all the mean things people are saying about your appearance or your play. So I kind of like that. I like the Hustler takes your phone. Andrew was asking me if I would mind if the lodge took my phone. And I was like, no, please police me in that way. I can't be trusted.
The only thing that, I mean, I guess it doesn't fix what you were just referencing, but I mean, if it was like away from the table and you could like, after a couple hours, you could just go and, return a phone call if you had to, take 10 minutes, and. I mean,
it's 4 or 5 hours, you know, and you're filming a show. I was happy to do it. I was relieved. And I knew that meant that I couldn't step away and film little like confessionals for my vlog or whatever, which my friend Jamin had recommended would be a good idea, but I was just like, whatever, no, just don't even fight it, just give him my phone.
But overall the experience was
it was amazing. I booked when I tied. The most I've ever made in a cash game is around $8,000 at a Monday TCH live stream game, and I tied that with an 82.50 win. I sold about 30% of my action, so I was able to pay out my Stake King investors. So it was like experience working with that. That game was wild. We had Faisal and DK. They were playing any two. Julia from Palmdale is like a badass because like she plays like a man, like honest, and I mean that as a compliment. Like she knows these guys are playing trash and she will play back at them with trash. Like she don't give a fuck. I like, honestly, she's my new hero, and I learned a lot just from watching her and her trust and confidence in herself and the ability to take those swings. I was like, I'm not that way at this stake yet, and that is a goal for me. Like I feel like I can be that way in like a smaller stake game where the money means less to me, but I definitely don't have that. I think she's a lawyer or something, but she has a game in Palmdale. Anyway, she's the tits. I love Julia. They also had that sweet little Margot influencer. Unfortunately, she short stacked it and she just ran into it. Like she shoved her 1700 with jacks. I woke up with kings. I had kings 3 times. I had aces once. The one time they couldn't read my hand when Billy called my 4-bet with 7 deuce. I did have ace. I had 2 red aces that hand. So I just ran really well. I was drinking Bahama Mamas with Faisal, which hit me really hard around the 4-hour mark. So I make a couple of like really pussy folds that have a lot to do with Bahama Mama consumption and less to do with, and also like playing a 10K stack is, you know, that's maybe happened to me a handful of times before where I've been sat 10K deep. So I definitely think that it was a learning experience in terms of work that I need to do to be more ready to play that stack, because I definitely checked out a little bit and wasn't playing my best game because I had taken this huge risk. A lot of people had told me it was a bad idea. I had asked for investors to cover my expenses. Like I really wanted to book the W, and I think that negatively affected the way that I played towards the end of the stream. And I think a lot of the criticism I got from like chatters or people that have reached out to me in my DMs, which was not solicited but is valid. So that's definitely the leak that I want to plug moving forward. But
there was a bunch of factors. You traveled to play in the game, which came with some expense. You had investors, which comes with, you know, leaves you with some feelings. You will definitely want to get a win for your investors. I'm just trying to keep it 100.
I could say those were good folds or whatever, but I'm just keeping it 100.
Plus, it's there after it's streamed. Of course, it's just there. You can go watch it on YouTube at any time. You don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Long term. About the phone thing, Chad, you've done some live stream stuff. How do you feel about the phone? Would you be okay to just put your phone in a box for 5 hours so you can play the live stream?
Well, it's funny. I was just thinking about this. So, yeah, I did the lodge stream a few times. Then they always say, like, hey, just don't pull your phone out at the table. But what will happen is I'll be on the stream, and then I'll just hear, like, you know, the little, like, buzz notification, like, you'll feel your legs shake or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, who's judging me now? Like, I get very curious. Like, okay, what did I mess up? Who's texting me saying I'm an idiot or whatever? Like, I actually think having a phone is like a negative thing in this situation. I would love if they took my phone.
Yeah, it's like getting to put your... So I know, Andrew, I know you still listen to the podcast every week, so here's your feedback. We're all on board. It's like putting your blinders on. You really do have the best opportunity to play your best game and play how you would were you not being filmed.
And the way the world is nowadays, it's almost like... even if I didn't play poker, if someone told me like, hey, there's this poker live stream and they take your phone away from you for 5 hours, it'd be like, cool, I'm in. Like any fucking excuse to get that thing out of my hand for 5 hours would be amazing.
Call it a cleanse.
Yeah. Digital detox, honestly. If you will.
Yeah, it's healthy. It would be kind of cool to do that just at like regular poker games. Just be like, no fun. There was a guy last night that was on his phone constantly. I had to tell him it was his turn every fucking hand. It was super obnoxious for like 2 hours. I wanted to throw something at him.
It's hard. And I definitely need to be policed at times. If I'm feeling like a little tired or a little low, I'll definitely be on my phone way too much. And I have to... If I notice myself being on my phone too much, I really do try to put it like back in my purse, back in my pocket, and get re-engaged in the game. Because I do love social media. I do love being online. Like that's why we're here doing this podcast, to create content, and that's like a passion of mine. So it makes sense, and it's appropriate for me to be on my phone a lot and staying plugged in like that. But at the poker game, it's bad manners.
Yeah.
It can be bad manners.
Yeah, I mean, people would acknowledge, too, that it's bad manners if you're at dinner and that's just like 2 or 3 people. You're in a group of 10 people that are all socializing and you're sitting there on your phone the whole time.
Isn't it so awkward when you're at a meal with like one other friend and they're like on their phone in front of you and you're trying to be polite and hold their attention and you have your phone in your bag and they're like, oh, sorry, I just got to do this one thing. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll overeat now because you won't talk to me.
Yeah, she's an 8, but she texts during dinner.
Oh, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
I love that trend. Oh, my gosh. We should do that with poker. He's a 10, but he back raises ace. Back raises ace.
Leave me alone.
He's a 4, Craig.
Leave me alone. Speaking of strong hands like aces, our top 5 today is shit hands. Famous shit hands that get a lot of play just because they're famous.
Before we go into the shit hand thing, I do want to thank Chad for coming on the podcast. We actually had him on because we like ragged on him as a bit, but I just like want everyone to know that like we adore Chad. We think he's a very funny and lovely person, and we're so honored that he came to yuck it up and talk poker with us. So that's what's truly in my heart, but also...
Well, Chad will play all of these hands that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much just Faisal than me.
Yeah. So I know particular order, I guess. I mean, maybe a little bit of an order, but number 5, Jack Deuce,
Choctaw
AKA
nuts.
the Choctaw Nuts. Choctaw about 4.5 minutes over the border into Oklahoma. Prior to all the card clubs opening in Texas, that was kind of like the place to go and play poker. They would have a couple of big tournament series every year, like a WPT and a WSOP series.
Yeah, Choctaw Nuts have permeated Texas poker culture for sure. They're part of a mainstay, if you will.
I was playing at Choctaw one time, and I was playing 2-5 when I probably shouldn't have been playing 2-5. I think I was waiting for a 1-2 seat, and they were like, "Oh, we got a 2-5." I was like, "Sure, whatever." So I'm short stacked, and I'm just looking to rip it in, and I had Jack Deuce, and I was like, "I'm at Choctaw, like I got to rip it in here." So someone opened, there was like 3 calls, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a good squeeze, whatever." So I just rip it in with Jack Deuce, and a guy snap calls me. We're still face down. The flop comes out, Deuce Deuce Jack, and I was like, "I have a boat," and he goes, "Oh, it's Jack's," and he turns over queens, and I was like, "It's not Jack's, it's fucking Jack Deuce."
And then Queen on the River fuck you up.
No, I won the hand. He was not pleased, but I was like, dude, how can I not play the Choctaw Nuts when I'm at Choctaw? I mean, come on. Any Jack Deuce experience yourselves?
No, that's my least. That's one of the offsuited jacks, especially, or with the high-low hands, Jack Deuce, Jack 3. I would just so much rather fuck it up with like King 3, King 4. I'm the Jacks in the mucks.
Next one, affectionately known as the Toaster. This is 6 Deuce. I actually just learned this one the other day. I feel like I've heard the term the Toaster, but I don't see this one getting a lot of play, but apparently at Shuffle, specifically a bunch of the players at Shuffle, it's like a big thing. Like if you're caught folding the 6 Deuce and not making a play with it, you're in deep shit. Because, I mean, it's a monster hand. And someone was talking about running a huge bluff on someone with it the other night, and the guy makes a pretty big fold, and then the guy's like, "Oh man, I mean, you must have it, like you're never showing up with a bluff there," and he's like, turns over, shows him the Toaster for 6 high, and he's like, I think he went into the stratosphere after that. It sounds great. That's so much fun. That's why I love these trash hands that people just decide to play whatever they are.
And then honorable mention to 4 Deuce offsuit, which is David Pratt's favorite hand. I forget what he calls that though. There's a nickname for Deuce 4 that David Pratt uses, but I don't remember. But I love you, David Pratt. I know you listen, so I want to give you a shout. And I got a bluff through in the last monthly monster that I ended up tabling with 4 Deuce offsuit and making a guy like tilt into the stratosphere. And he got really mouthy with me. And then I opened kings, and he 3-bet from the small blind, and I 4-bet him, and he shoved into me with 9s. He 5-bet shoved into me with 9s. And then after the hand runs out, I have kings. I win the hand, of course. And I like turned to the guy who gave me shit for tabling the 4 Deuce. And I was like, "See, if you don't table 4 Deuce, then 9s doesn't shove on you there."
Yeah.
We have kings. And he like.
Implied odds.
Yeah, I don't know if I already told that story on the stream. Sorry.
It's the benefit of getting good action now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pays off. Table image.
That helped me a hustler. I played 7 Deuce. We were playing the 7 Deuce game, and like I honestly knew he was on to me, and the king was a bad card for me, but I decided to barrel into it twice, and I knew I was getting called on the river, and I most definitely should have checked or gone all in. The half pot size bet that I made was absolutely tragic. Like it snapped off all day, which it did, but I think it was just like more of a like mental thing. Like my mama didn't raise no pussy. I'm like pew 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 to empty the chamber. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it set
later.
me up to get paid later. Yeah. And luckily I just kept getting premium after premium, so it worked out.
Table image is so much more of a thing at higher stakes than it is at lower stakes. Lower stakes, people just aren't paying attention. They're drinking. They're on their phone like we talked about. There's just like a lot of things going on at lower stakes, and people are just generally nutted, or they don't remember that you haven't played a hand in 3 orbits. Yeah. Like they just don't care. They just call, and like they're just playing their hand. They're never playing each other, and they're never paying attention to the fact that like this guy never shows up with a bluff, and you just continue to call him on the river, and he hasn't bluffed on the river ever.
Yeah. Here's a free piece of poker advice if you're a noob or consider yourself a noob in the poker world. If someone check raises you on the river, don't call them with less than the nuts, please. Please.
They have it.
People don't
in low
do
stakes.
that. If you're playing a high stakes game and you're sitting with Gerald Adelstein and Tom Juan and all these, then yes, they're capable of that. But like your average home game, 1-2 game, people are not check raising the river as a bluff. There is your free piece of daily advice.
You got that, Chad?
Got it. Call Tyler's check raise. Got it.
Put that in the arsenal.
No, I mean, some people are chaotic, and hopefully you'll figure out and you'll get your read and you'll know the difference. But in general, don't call river raises.
Yeah, against the unknown, definitely not.
Yeah. Number 3 on the list. This is of recent fame. Queen 4 pretty famous hand played
Phil
against
Hellmuth.
Phil Hellmuth with Queen 4. Or
I
did
saw
he had the Queen 4?
Phil Hellmuth had the Queen 4. And he called off with it, right? He called the all-in with Queen 4. And I saw someone's distillation breaking that down. I forget who it was, but like one other poker pro that was like, I've been watching Phil Hellmuth for a while now, and he was like, well, I mean, queens are unblocking a lot of these hands and this, that, and this. So he figured he can draw up against 8s and 9s and 10s, which are the only hands that are doing that here, and like blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah,
I was
but
just
Phil's
like,
not thinking like
okay.
that. You can't justify that play because Phil's not thinking like that. Like that's
Maybe
not how
he was ready to
is.
go home. Like if I make a trash call off like that in a tournament, that's a sign of I regret
I give
entering
up.
this tournament and I would like to go home. Please, I abort the mission.
Well, he was
abort.
given his exit, and he was also given the double birds, I believe. Right.
No, he won the hand.
Yeah,
he
won.
won the hand with Queen 4. He was eliminated later, but he won. The
Oh,
Queen
he got
4
the double
hand.
birds later.
Well, that's the thing. If he loses that hand, does anyone talk about this, or is it just a punt?
I think they do talk about
Yeah,
it,
it's
but
Because
true.
it's Phil, they would talk about
Well,
it.
yeah, it's like I guess everyone talks about Vanessa Selp's Jack 7 in the cash game.
Yeah.
gosh, I miss her. I think she's making too much money working.
Yeah.
Because I think like the pipeline to like becoming a successful poker pro and then like getting plugged into some like hedge fund that needs like a logic strategist and they just like hire an old poker pro or something.
Yeah, it makes
like
sense.
a lot of them are doing that, like Annie Duke and Vanessa Selps, and I guess it's a lot easier money than being the only woman sitting at a table and getting shat on at times.
Probably less variance and higher upside. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Oh, and she's like raising a family, but just shout out for my girl Vanessa. I love her.
Number 2 is the diaper, 2 variants. If it's suited, it is just the diaper or the clean diaper. If it's offsuit, it is the dirty diaper. This made
I didn't know
famous
that
by
distinction. Rigby.
Sir Rigby of a couple years ago in the main event. Made a
It was
deep
the
run.
one in November, so the 2021.
He's a guy from Pittsburgh, so great for the game. He's got a bunch of his buddies there from his home, their weekly home game. They flew out to rail him. He's like in the final 3 tables running massive bluffs with the tray deuce because that's like their
What do you call
hand.
guys from Pittsburgh? They're Yinzers?
Yeah, Yinzers.
Yeah, love it.
What is that? I've not heard that ever.
It's like something about the Steelers. Like it's, I know like the Steelers fan is Yinzer Nation, but I'm not sure exactly where it comes from.
What the origin is.
Yeah.
That's
People
weird.
that say "whata" or whatever their weird ass
Yeah.
accent is. God, that makes me think of that show with Kate Winslet. Oh my God. The guy that played the detective, he can get it. I was so mad when he got shot in the head. I was like, no, I want him to get the girl.
Number 1 is the iconic 7 deuce. Most games in Texas, especially, but I think most games everywhere offer some sort of bounty for the 7 deuce. As Caitlin alluded to on the Hustler stream, she went for it with the 7 deuce fairly early in the stream. It's the worst statistical hand in poker
For
and-
high games, obviously.
Yeah.
High
Yeah.
only. Hold on.
And get in there, win a hand with it. Sometimes it's really funny when people make a hand with it. That's the best, is because they just like, I got 2 pair.
That's just like hitting bingo. I hit
So
bingo.
you think. This is my last hand last night. I'm just playing this little home game. I decide, like, I'm telling everyone, like, an orbit advance, just being polite. Like, okay, last orbit. Very last hand, I get 7 deuce. I open 9x. So I open a 45, get 2 callers in the small blind and the cutoff. I'm opening from the button. Flop is 7 deuce 5.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
That's what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. So small blind donk leads, gets a call from the cutoff.
I hate that donk lead.
I raise up
hate
to
that.
leads for
He's got a
50.
set
I
of
raise up to like
fives.
325. Yeah, it gets a set of 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it all in. Actually, luckily this guy's friends with me, so
Who donk leads a set? What a monkey.
yeah. I mean, this ended up saving money, and then for some reason we get to the river, so like the third guy's all in at the cutoff with like a diamond draw on the turn, and he just checks before the card even comes out. I'm like, all right, thank you very much. You just saved me like $1,000.
Nice.
So yeah, so close to the
I don't like
fun
the way
7 deuce.
your friend played that hand. I did not like the way your friend played that hand.
I mean, I appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for saving me some money.
I had a hand at the meetup game that ended up being huge. I flopped a set, but there was also, I flopped a middle set on an ace high board with a flush draw. So there's plenty of action that I can get. And I led with that set and it ended up getting me paid. But on a 7 high board, like There's no reason to lead with a set there.
At our meetup game, my big hand was I won a PLO. I scooped a PLO bomb pot for like $1,500 or somewhere in that range with deuce, 3, 6. I made a straight flush on one board and a set of deuces held on the other one. Both my opponents had the ace high flush and the king high flush.
Oh.
And they had nothing on the other.
Oh, yeah, I remember that hand. I just decided to say, oh, look, I flopped a straight flush before you even look at your hand, and you look down at the little straight flush.
You did. You signaled my straight flush before, and I looked down at one, and I was like, keep it together, keep it together. But unfortunately, Andy was on the receiving end of the nut flush. I know.
Well,
flush.
But
shit happens, especially in bomb pots.
It can.
But this leads me to something else. Like, I think about all these like little side games and hold up and PLO are just really good for like running a local game, like the 7 Deuce.
I think the stand-up game is great too.
The stand-up game is one of my favorites. I love the small blind game too.
That's a good one.
And then last night we decided to try something brand new. We decided to take the ocean.
We integrated the ocean, which is a negotiation tactic, which is when the hand is over, hands are tabled to figure out who wins the pot. Depending on the size of the pot and the equity that the loser would have on a theoretical 6th street, negotiations can be made to purchase that last card. And we had a fucking ball doing this because it would be, say, a $200 pot, and it's like someone's got straight draw, flush draw on the river, right? They're not drawing. In traditional poker, they're not drawing anymore. They're not. The draw doesn't matter. All they have is the draw. But they might offer the winner of the hand, hey, I'll give you $50 and we'll see this river and see who wins. And it happens sometimes. Sometimes it flipped to the winner of the pot. Sometimes it was just extra money to the winner of the pot. Sometimes it ran out to a chop. It's really, really interesting. The negotiating, was awesome because it was like...
It's almost like auctions and Monopoly.
Yeah. Because like as the dealer, I'm sitting there and it's like optional ocean. Does anyone want the ocean card? Whatever. And it's like, I'm sitting there going like, well, okay, this guy should probably charge about $20, given the size of the pot and the equities. And it's like, I'll do it for 15. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a bargain. And the guy's like, oh, do it for 10. Like, as they're going back and forth, I'm like, dude, you should have just taken 15. You better hope he doesn't just shut this negotiation down right now. It was crazy. But yeah, there was some where it was crazy. And there was one where they ran it twice, pocket tens. And what did you have, Chad?
So yeah, a guy opened jams from under the gun with tens. I have pocket kings, just snap jam my entire stack.
They agreed to run it twice. Yeah, so we run out 2 boards. And then I said, how about an optional ocean? And I burned and put the ocean face down. And I said, it plays on both boards. And they were like, oh, how much? And Chad offers a price. The guy didn't like the price. He's like, I only have 2 outs.
No, he offered me, so I think it was about $1,000 pot. I think he offers me like $200-$300. So like, I mean, I'm getting an amazing price. Like, I'm an idiot not to take this.
Yeah.
But I decided, oh no, okay, I want to win the pot. I want to lock in this win. Then you just snap flip over a 10.
Yeah. The ocean was a 10. He would have scooped it. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, for them.
Excellent negotiating.
Yeah.
Well done, Chad.
Based on the results, you made the right decision.
Yeah, I love results-oriented thinking.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was like one thing that my coach, when we were going over my hustler hands, he said like there was a time where I folded 8s, where it would have ended up being correct because my opponent would have called me and then like rivered me with a better pair. And then there was another situation where I folded a queen high flush draw incorrectly, probably. I was getting the right price to call or whatever. And I would have bricked. So it's like the bad folds that I made, results oriented, saved me money. Like they were folds to save money and they were effective, but it's just sort of like in the generosity of spirit. I don't know. But I also always reserve the right to make incorrect folds when I have an intuition. Like there was like a time where I had king queen, where if I had gotten involved, I think I would have like lost a big pot. And I based on who was involved in the pot and where my position was, I just decided I didn't want to play. I had a bad feeling about it and I chose not to play it. And people give me shit for those situations sometimes, but it's like, especially as a female poker player, like intuition is and I've talked to other females about this, so I know it's true, but we weight that in a lot of our decisions, reading men and reading energies, and I won't apologize for it. And also, it was the Lionsgate portal was open, so it was very important to be connected to energies and manifestations of good things.
Johnny Vibes talks about that a lot, where he says, he's like, has to constantly remind himself it's okay to fold when you know you're beat.
Yeah.
You might be getting an amazing price, and the math is like, yeah, just call here every time. You just shrug it off and call. And he's like, no, sometimes you can just save a bet
Yeah.
by folding when you know you're beat, even though you're getting just an amazing price. Well, that player is a really good player and knows what price to present you that you, quote, have to call.
Yeah, like if a 100-year-old man min clicks you on the river, if you don't have the nuts, you probably can get away from most things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we've talked about enough hands where we can skip the hand history since we topped up enough. So let's dive into being mean to one another.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the compliment earlier, so that when I make you cry now, you'll forgive me.
Oh, yeah, gloves are off.
Teeing him up.
Who's going first? I think Craig should go first.
You think I should go first?
I think you should.
Chad.
No hesitation.
Go
It
on.
is so hot in Texas right now.
How
And
hot is it?
It's very fucking hot. Okay. It's been like 106 degrees every day for like the last 2.5 months. And I told you, I'm like, it's a garage studio. It can be a little warm. And you wear a sweater underneath your button up shirt.
Shit, that was going to be my harsh but fair. Fuck.
Yeah.
So
this is imported Armenian leather. I don't know if the camera can see. Yeah, it's naturally raised.
Can I feel? Can I?
Please do.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a hot garage.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone wear a sweater underneath their short sleeve shirt, but
It's a style.
You do it.
It's an Armenian
and
style.
You pull it off, I guess.
So you think?
Honestly, not to be inappropriate and no disrespect to you or the man I'm seeing, but like body hair is really sexy. Like it's.
Oh, how disrespectful. Please disrespect me more.
I'm into it, you little teddy bear.
A cub. I think we nailed
we
that down
nailed
last
it
night.
down.
He's a
He's
cub.
not big enough to be a bear. He's a cub. But yeah,
Sure, let's go with that.
Body hair is sexy. You could look like Craig. I'm sure like he takes off his shirt and he feels like a dolphin.
I have like 5 chest hairs and maybe 1 back hair. I don't know.
Well, don't worry. You
crazy.
save a lot in waxing.
He's
Sure.
aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Caitlin,
Yes.
you showed up last night to a game that I was dealing, and I told you that it's been quite a while since you've done so. I meant that as a compliment. I enjoy your company at the table, and I enjoy your banter, and I enjoy your laugh. I enjoy your singing. There's a lot of things you bring to the table. And then you were just there for like an hour, and you're like, fuck this, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I mean, I was losing. I wasn't in the mood to play. I wasn't
Bad
playing
energy.
disciplined. And
Just enough
the
to
game
dangle
wasn't
the
that
carrot,
good,
and then you're
I
like,
didn't-
fuck
yeah.
off, I'm not entertained. See you later.
That's the thing, especially like if I didn't like commit the day before to a seat and I like the game runner's not holding a seat for me or whatever. Like if I lose like one buy-in and I don't like the game, like that's part of what makes me a pro is that I leave. I give myself the permission to leave. I don't owe anybody anything.
But what about me, Caitlin? What about me?
I came to your baby shower. I planned a meetup game for you for no money. If anything, I was charged for doing it. So I don't want to hear that from you.
Is that my harsh but fair? Are you just flipping this one around on
Yeah,
me?
yeah, let's dive right into it. Okay, Craig, your harsh but fair is that you made me organize a meetup game. I made a digital flyer. I show up. I text friends to come. I make sure it's not a dud. And then you didn't even negotiate us getting membership in time, you fucking moron.
I'll give you the $23, Caitlin. I feel really bad about it.
I know. I'm such an asshole, though, because I won over $1,000, right? But I still want to blame you for being a horrible business manager for us as personalities and meetup game hosts. You monkey. That's your harsh but fair.
Okay.
Accept your feedback.
Okay.
Harsh but fair.
That's harsh. That's fair. It's all the things. Chad. Oh, you got to be mean to Chad.
Oh, I gotta be mean to Chad. I was gonna do the body hair thing. That's such a good one.
Do you want to come back to Chad? Do you want to let Chad go and you
No.
come back to Chad?
You always get the best ones when you just start talking before you've decided what it is. Okay, Chad. Your harsh but fair is that it is so obvious to me that you are the youngest of 7 children. Your energy screams, I was in the backseat of a minivan for the whole of my life. Nobody ever looked at me. Nobody ever shared shit with me. Nobody ever bought me a brand new sweatshirt. I inherited Alex's sweatshirts that were covered in his hockey sweat. And now I'm going to be the nicest guy in the room and force you to pay attention to me with my fun dad jokes. That's your harsh but fair.
I mean, Is it a harsh if it's true?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to fair.
Whose shirt was this before it was yours?
Yeah, was this Alex's too?
I believe this was Kyle's.
And
Shout out to
you
Kyle
inherit-
Keating.
And who did you inherit the sweater from?
I believe my mother.
Mama Keating is a furry lady, and we stand her.
That's why I have my favorite hand, the King 7, the Keating 7.
Love it. That's cute.
Yeah. So harsh but fair. Who do I pick
We
first?
haven't talked about your uncle, Alan Keating.
Oh, Alan. Yeah.
him.
I really
He's
take after his
wild.
play.
He's wild.
Yeah.
Don't
Alan
confuse
Keating.
people. They're not
Yeah,
related.
okay.
Yeah, we're not related,
but
but we're related in poker playing energy.
sometimes people see you punt and they think that you are related.
Yeah. It's
At least in spirit.
it's the Alan special. No, if I can play with Ninja sometime, that'd be fun.
All right, Chad, it's your moment to be mean.
I'm not good at being mean. I'm good at like cracking like jokes in the moment.
That's such a fucking cop out, Chad.
Oh,
You got
no.
a day to prepare.
Okay, fine. Am I mean? Let's see.
My mean?
Caitlin, you're an obnoxious drunk at the table and you think you can get away with it just because you're a fucking woman? There's progressiveness and then there's just using your situation to just yell at everyone.
This is fair.
Harsh but fair.
Yeah, okay.
Harsh but fair.
Totally fair. Is it harsh and fair? Is it if it's true? To quote one Chad Keating?
I'm not rebutting the harsh but fair this week. I have accepted it.
And Craig, you know you can get away with murder and you just go for it every time. Like, no matter what someone says, no matter what someone does, since you're the dealer, you can invalidate anything a person says.
Kind of true, kind of fair, definitely harsh.
These were the best harsh but fairs we've received, honestly,
There's-
Chad. You set the bar high.
Listen, I've told people
Hey,
there's
you
like
guys set the bar for me.
there's
I
like
love it.
probably a list of 100 rules of why I don't want to deal in a card club and why I choose to deal private games, and that is one of them. Like I definitely
That you can talk back to the
needle the shit
clientele.
out of
Yeah.
a lot of players, and some take it better than others, and the ones that take it the best are the ones that receive the most. Unfortunately, that's their reward for having a good sense of humor is they just get needled constantly.
Yeah. And I just was trying to impact Craig financially by drinking all of his wedding alcohol as fast as I could.
Yeah, it took
And
me
I didn't
5
care
years
who
to
I
get
took
rid of
down
it.
with me.
There was still, or 3.5 years or whatever to get rid of it. There was still like a couple bottles left over at the end of the meetup game, the bottom of a few bottles. And they
Yeah.
were like, oh, hey, are you going to take this with you? And I was like, no, I'm finally done with this shit. Get it out of here. I'm done with it. Give it away to somebody.
But yes, thanks for getting me drunk. It was nice to blow off some steam. Sorry I screeched like a banshee for the duration
it was
of
still
the meetup
fun,
game.
and
But I
got
figured
a good
since
action.
I wasn't being compensated by the club, it was my right to to behave like a jackass.
Now, a true apology, Caitlin, means that
Yeah.
next time in the exact same situation, you will try to improve your behavior.
Bluff.
About that.
Chad just snapped you off with King High.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much to Chad Keating, the youngest of 7 boys, and a warm, lovely spot in the Poker Austin community that is new to us. We're glad to have him. If y'all see him around on the felt, please say hi. I've been Caitlin Komeski. That's Craig Sear. This is the Texas Poker Experience. Thanks for continuing to listen or watch. If you're not subscribed on the audio platforms such as Stitcher or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Casts, I hope that you do give us a thumbs up, leave a rating, or on YouTube, leave a comment, give the thumbs up to the video. Let us know you're enjoying the content so that we continue to make it. Thank you for being a Texas Poker Experience viewer. Talk to you next time.
Don't be a nit like me.
And remember to straddle.